So I got into MMA when I was, I think I was 19 years old, and had a kid at a young age. Ended up leaving college early, and someone planted the seed in my head to think about being an MMA fighter, and I said, you know what, I could do that. And you know, I knew I wanted to continue being an athlete. I had two brothers that were playing football at Syracuse, that people figured they would be in the NFL one day, and I didn't want to be the brother that was not the pro athlete, you know, in the family. So I wanted to find my way and also be able to provide for my family, and found MMA and absolutely became obsessed with it. I used to study and watch private fights for hours, like hours. I remember one day I found a website that had all of Anderson Silva's fights on it, like kickboxing and all these matches, and I watched probably about 40 Anderson Silva fights that day. And I remember coming up out of this basement while I was watching it and realized that like 10 hours or something had gone by. And I was that obsessed with just watching fights. And but that was when I was a lot younger. But don't do it nearly as much as I used to. As far as being a fan, now I just study people that I had to fight against. But I used to watch so many fights and just take from so many different athletes. You know, I would start. You know, I would steal Uriah Faber's flying knee. I would steal this guy's the way he holds his hands. I would steal this guy the way he did. You know, and just obsessing myself with different ways of fighting, different ways of going about fights, and dropping that same stuff today.
You came back and you showed the world that like Jon Jones is back. How do you feel about that?
It feels great. It feels really good to be back in this position. It feels right. You know, I've been UFC champion since I was 23 years old, and to spend 2 years without the belt, you know, it definitely felt like incomplete. So having this belt back and just being back in this position, it just feels so right, and I've missed it tremendously. It's part of the reason why I didn't take a warm-up fight, you know, because I believe either you have it or you don't, and I believe that I have it. And so, and if you have it, there's no need for a warm-up fight. I just believe that, you know, it's my time. I never really thought about hanging it up. No, you know, watching a guy like DC have the belt just inspired me a lot, and I just knew I had to stay patient. You know, the UFC 200 situation, that cancellation was a lot, and just knew pretty much I just had to stay patient, stay faithful, and it'd be a matter of time before I'd be back. Still to this day, I don't really watch a lot of fighting. I mainly pay attention to my weight class and possible opponents. Obviously, big like Conor McGregor fan, and like Holly Holm, and you know. So normally when I have a teammate fighting, I'll watch those fights, but outside of that, I'm not really too much into it. I studied Darren Cormier, like to the point where I know what the commentators are gonna say at what moment in the fight. I've watched his fights so many times. Yeah, it's just my way of training mainly. I believe that fighting is like a test, and you got to study, you got to do your homework in order to pass that test. And so my homework is constantly watching footage. Being the champion of the division is a big target on your back, so I look at everyone as potential opponents, but at the same time, I get excited about challenges and tough athletes. So there's no one really that I have my eye on in particular in the division. Instead of feeling like maybe they're coming to get me, I'm the youngest guy in there, so I'm still coming to get them. You know, I believe I have at least another, 5 to 10 years in this game.
Who stands out for you? Who's your favorite fighter?
Anderson Silva. Jose Aldo back in the WC days used to just intrigue me so much, but throughout all the time, it's always been Anderson Silva for the most part. Yeah, he's just so dynamic, and just amazing highlights over the years. He's been my inspiration for sure. Take lots of notes because there's just so many moves. There's just so many ways of thinking about fighting, so many ways about going about it, and you'll forget half of it if you don't write it down somewhere. So I love taking notes, going back to notes that I've had from years ago and seeing the different ways I was thinking at that stage of my career. and, you know, bringing some things back, leaving some things behind. Lots of notes. Monster surrounds himself with the best athletes in the world, and it just assures things to me even more of what's happening in my life, being aligned with Monster. So I really appreciate it.